It's Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness, where survivors radiate badassery. Gosh, what is today? It is currently July 16th, 2024, and I want to film a couple little videos real quick. So at the library, huzzah, there's actually a little concert thing going on outside, otherwise I would have filmed inside my car, but inside the library, once I found a parking space, was the way the stars aligned for us today. But I do want to film, in this video at least, a kind of like a little life update, because the last video that I filmed, edited, and then published, I didn't really edit it very much, but filmed, edited, and published was about, what did I call it? I think it was like my therapist in a show, and I was dysregulated, and now I'm dysregulated, but I'll be okay, kind of thing like that. So I do want to kind of film like an update with that, sort of the after effects of that situation. So my plan, as I have thought since about the time that I filmed that video, and certainly since I uploaded that video, my plan is tomorrow is Wednesday, it's my first day off of the week, hooray! And I am planning to text my therapist to reschedule an appointment. Hopefully I can get something within the next week or two, and then probably like a Saturday or something, maybe a Wednesday at the most. But something to that effect. Probably something maybe like after, hopefully if I can do like 10 a.m. or like noon or something like that. That might be the best window of time. So the plan for that is to reach out to my therapist and reschedule. Also, something else that I think I noted in my video that I filmed when that happened, which I filmed later in the day that it happened. And actually, I spent most of the day avoiding and oversleeping and going down rabbit holes and such because of the fact that I was dysregulated in a sense. So my way of choosing to cope with that was to avoid it entirely, which I actually was successful in completely forgetting that had happened that day, and that was what kind of spurred my day to kind of unravel as it were. But something that I did notice was I think my reaction time, the second time it happened in now July, from the first time being in June, my reaction time was shorter because originally the video that I filmed that is still in my camera and not on my computer and not edited yet and not uploaded, of course, that was when it first happened. My therapist didn't show up, and then that kind of dysregulation that occurred. I filmed like a 45-minute, those random people walking by, I filmed a 45-minute video, and the whole thing was 45 minutes long versus my reaction time this time happening the second time in July, the second time in general in the summer. But when I say second time in July, I mean the second time that it happened, and it just so happened to fall in this month, July. Versus the second time, I filmed a video that was only 15 minutes long. So I think my reaction time in comparison was improved in that sense. I think also something which is interesting is I think it also affected me more this time in July than it did in June, which is interesting. I say that from the skewed perspective of the fact that something I've learned from this situation has been that I can tolerate a high amount of anxiety, and then once that anxiety kind of reaches ultimate, however big it is, I do tend to fall into a depressive episode thereafter. So I know that when I kind of realized, I realized when I was filming the 15-minute video, where I was like, wait a second, this happened before last month, and I already sort of went through the process of it. So that was a good realization that I had, because I don't think I would have necessarily put two and two together in a sense. So being oh wait, this happened already, deja vu kind of thing, was helpful in a sense that it was so I've been even just reminding, that reminder that I've been through it before and I can, get through it in a sense was helpful. Of course, my sort of response and my reaction of avoiding and falling down the avoidance rabbit hole wasn't as helpful. But I also think I learned something from that as well, in the sense that I've learned that avoidance really is a behavioral tactic that is no longer serving me. It likely hasn't been serving me well and in a healthy way for a long time. And I'm sort of now fully at, I think, a lot closer of a place to be like, I want to eliminate that unhealthy negative behavior as much as I possibly can. You know, it's not going to go from all the avoidance to not avoiding everything all at once, but I think that, and actually this is something too, because I filmed on July 4th a whole day in the life of approaching, which again, I don't think I realized how monstrous. I didn't realize how monstrous the avoidance monster really is, because since having filmed that video and doing all of the stuff for that video, first of all, I had way more things I was avoiding than I had realized. Second of all, I have so much avoidance that I was not going to be able to just achieve all of the, you know, approaching of all the things in one day. And then third of all, it kind of like made me a little bit more anxious and then a little bit more avoidant thereafter. You know, I still continue to avoid on other days. I was oversleeping, I was, you know, doing whatever, and I've been having issues with sleep and stuff like that too, and so it's a whole host of things. But it made me kind of realize like, oh, so avoidance is a huge thing, and it's made my world so small, because that's kind of what happens, is that it kind of, whatever original problem is there is still there, and then often gets bigger and bigger and bigger, unfortunately, and it starts to spread into all areas of life, which really sucks. But so avoidance monster, you know, it's not going to be from avoiding everything to approaching all the things all at once, but over time I'm hoping to curb that behavior for sure and really eliminate it as much as possible. With like, you know, noting that like there will be times that I'll avoid a little bit, or if I'm intending to have, you know, a day where I'm just not, you know, I'm just as a rest day rather than an avoidance day. I think it's always different and stuff too. I kind of forgot one of my points in there, but let me think. Okay, no more ums. So something also I learned, I think the 15-minute video that I posted of my sort of reaction and response. One of my fishermen pointed out that I seemed still very positive about it, which I'm glad that it came across that way, because I didn't really feel that way. Especially didn't feel it once I like, you know, finished going through it, like rewatching it and then editing it and putting it together. But I'm glad that it came off a little bit that I was still positive, because I feel like I was kind of more not, I was just kind of like in the feelings and such, or at least just like not like so in the feelings that I wasn't in the feelings at all. But I think over time now, in the past few days, I've been able to kind of come to better acceptance and understanding of where I was at. I think, like I said earlier, you know, a lot of it was anxiety, and then into Sunday when I went to work, I was more in a depressive episode. What helped get me out of that partially was working, and also I found out at work that, you know, former President Donald Trump was nearly assassinated, and I was like, I fell down such a weird rabbit hole about learning all of that, falling down the rabbit hole of it, primarily on Reddit, but also some news outlets and stuff like that too. So like as I was going about my day, I'm like learning about it, and I'm like, what is happening? I guess like it just pulled me out of it so much, because it was like, well, at least I'm not Donald Trump, and I'm not getting, you know, someone's trying to kill me kind of thing. So it's like it pulled me out of depressive mode completely, like getting just like somebody else's ship is sinking, and then that just like learning about it, and like, you know, just I don't know, like it was. And I tend to be very late to any kind of national news or world news or anything like that, but I was kind of still late to it anyway, but like overall I was kind of more on top of it than I normally am in a sense. So world events, I guess, it just kind of like, it just brought me out of depressive mode, and then I was like, oh well, at least I'm not Donald Trump. So I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like this depressive episode kind of, you know, and then I was kind of, especially with people that were commenting about how we're in like a new timeline, and it was just weird like that. So it was like a weird day. Sunday was a weird day. I went home, like I kind of got home a little bit late, but I did like watch part of Biden's like address to the unit. Biden's address to the psyche, no. Biden's address to the U.S. in the Oval Office. I watched a little bit of that, and then I listened to some of the news stuff on it, and then I found more stuff online after. But it was wild. It was just like so like so wild. Like, what? What is happening? Like, I don't know, it's just really weird. And it also kind of made me think about a couple of my fanfics and stuff too. Which, I have updates about fanfics as well. It made me think of some of my fanfics, so I was like, I really want to like continue writing and get a new chapter out soon. But that's a different tangent. That's a whole different thing. I did draw a couple of things related to avoidance stuff, which maybe I'll film in another video, and then I'm gonna film another video as well. Not like fully film. Oh my goodness, I don't have enough time. All right, I'm gonna end this video here so that I can fill you in on a couple other little things and then kind of go from there. I'll keep you guys updated if you want to be updated, or even if you don't want to be updated, I'll update you anyway. But I have Wednesday off, so I'm really planning to do a lot of things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm doing better. I do appreciate the people who commented on my last video, and if you are just watching this video, feel free to go back and comment on that one too. But it was helpful. It was helpful to kind of, you know, be reminded that I'm not alone, and that, you know, we all struggle, we all have common humanity. And, you know, even though it can be really hard to get through those kind of moments, like, we can still get through them and they can still be managed. And that was helpful. And just like little reminders of like, hey, I see you, I hear you, yeah, I've gone through something similar, or you're gonna get through this. Like, totally helps. So yeah, I'm gonna go. So as always, stay safe, much love and light to you. And I will see you in another video upload soon. And what is one positive thing that you got out of today?
Guiding like a lighthouse to